Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly TV news. Yes, Connor's back from vacation. He's here.
Yes, I am.
Stop with your bring back the ginger hashtags and every other stupid thing I had to put up with in the last week.
See, I'm an integral part of this channel.
So here's what we do here. We talk about shows that are in development, we talk about premieres, we talk about renewals and cancellations, and we talk about all that kind of thing. And at the end, we pick our favourite episode of TV of the week, which is probably weird this week because Connor's probably not watched anything from this week yet.
I've watched the DC shows.
Yep, but nothing else. Or did you watch
No,
Doctor
that's
Who
not
yet?
true. I watched Doctor Who. I
There
watched
you
it
go.
with dinner.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
there we go. I watched something.
There you go. You're catching up, which is good.
Mm.
Which is good.
Do you know what? That just dawned on me that when I said that, because we have moved the day of television from the multiverse from we used to do it on a Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. Now it's a Thursday.
Now it's a Thursday. We have seen all of the week's TV episodes for that before we do this news show. So
Yeah, that's true.
maybe they'll actually be in the running at the end, because usually we don't watch them till the Sunday.
Exactly. Yeah, it's usually they don't count for it, but yeah, no, they could now. Yeah, that's a good point. They
I mean,
could
it'd be
count now.
rare that they'd be genuinely in the running, depending on what else is on. But
Oh, I don't know. Titans episode 2 is looking good. I mean,
okay,
come on, Hawk and Dove, Avatar of War, Avatar of Peace. How can you turn that down? You cold dead heart.
let's see how drunk it makes me.
So, this is a TV news show. We'll get cracking. Although, what I actually want to do before I talk about this week's news, now I realised that I did a solo news show last week, and a lot of you should have watched that and enjoyed that, hopefully. But just so that Connor's not in the dark as to everything that he missed in the week off, I'm going to do a quick, extremely fast-paced recap of last week's news.
Okay.
All right. True Detective Season 3's got a premiere date of January 13th.
Of course, more in January.
Charm got more episodes on the CW, so up to 18 episodes for Season 1. Ricardo Diaz has made a season regular on Arrow.
Yeah.
Warner are thinking of launching their own streaming service by the end of 2019.
To be expected, I guess.
Man, there was a lot of comedies last week. Jesus Christ, I must have been sitting here for ages. Secret 6 at CBS in development.
Cool. Okay. But I mean CBS, so yeah.
TNT have given a straight-to-series or sci-fi order for a drama project produced by Ridley Scott. It's called Raised by Wolves. It centers on two androids tasked with raising human children on a mysterious virgin planet. As the burgeoning colony of humans threatens to be torn apart by religious differences, the androids learn that controlling their beliefs of humans is a treacherous and difficult task. That sounds good. Tell me it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. Was there a network attached on that one?
TNT.
TNT. Okay.
I mean, it could.
I've enjoyed TNT shows in the past.
Hulu's doing a Wu-Tang Clan origin story.
I'm down.
Dresden Files. Have you ever heard of the Dresden Files?
Yes.
Right, they're going to do they're developing a new show. Fox 21 TV studios are doing it, meaning that it'll be Disney that own this by the time it turns into anything.
Yes.
But it's
Cool.
it's kind of Constantine meets Angel, which I'm not going to do my reference. I'll do it later. I did the reference here last week. I'm not recycling old references.
That would be cheap even for you.
Yes. Beacon 23, which is a novel, a best-selling novel by Hugh Howley, is being developed for TV. It's set in the 23rd century. It's a series of beacons to help passing ships avoid disaster. The TV adaptation focuses on a man who thinks he will find peace manning one of these remote lighthouses in space, but he quickly discovers that he can't outrun his past.
Okay, cool. I'm familiar with the author, not this book in particular.
Oh, really?
But
That sounded interesting. I don't know.
Maybe.
A few interesting sci-fi ones last week. That's pretty much it. I don't think anything else is worth mentioning. And of course, people who actually watched last week's are going to be screaming, "No, you didn't tell them about that one." But those are ones.
I'll read the comments. So if you really want me to know about one, pop it in there.
Yes. I kept that fairly short. I was like a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
There are people going, that was 2 minutes too long.
Probably. We'll just move swiftly on.
Let's do it.
Orange is the New Black is going to end after its upcoming 7th season. What's notable about this is that when it got its 7th season, it was renewed after season 4 for 3 seasons. So I feel like they probably kind of planned this as the end a while ago.
Or they went, damn it, we really didn't need 7 seasons.
That's possible.
We went too far.
Yeah, it's hard to say since neither of us have watched it, but
I've seen like half an episode.
not enough to judge that, because I think if you watch the whole thing, you're in season 6 going, they could probably just like condense this a bit and ended it here, rather than, it feels like they're dragging it out.
Yeah.
But we don't know that. It might not be that at all. It may just be, no, that the reason why they negotiated for 3 seasons at the time is because they said, we've got 3 seasons left, let's do 3 seasons.
No, that's fair. I know reviews have been kind of dwindling on it over the last couple of seasons.
I had a lot of buzz when it started, because it was like the second big Netflix show after House of Cards.
It was, yeah, but it was a bit lackluster from what I heard over the last couple of seasons.
It's got out in better terms than that show, though.
It's not hard, though, is it?
It's not hard, but I mean,
most shows go out on better terms than that.
Even Luke Cage is getting out in better terms than that. Which, by the way, Luke Cage has been cancelled.
Ah, what a shame.
Which is why I know people were saying, "Why didn't you tell about Iron Fist being cancelled? Why didn't you bring that up?" We want thoughts on that because I
knew that one.
Yeah,
anyway.
Well, you knew that, but I also knew it'd come up during Luke Cage, right? Because I think that's the discussion now. Is that in 2 weeks they've cancelled 2 of the shows?
Weirdly, this makes me go, because before when Iron Fist was kind of like, okay, they just didn't care about Iron Fist. Damage was done after the season 1, right? But with Luke Cage, it adds the option. I know there was people going, oh, but maybe they'll do relaunch as a Heroes for Hire. This makes that slightly more likely.
I think there's more juicy things to talk about here actually than just that.
No, I agree. I think the other side of it's way more interesting.
Yeah, because I don't even know if it's necessarily because they want to do anything with these characters. Because from the sounds of it, Netflix were as much of a part of cancelling this than the other side was, right? Because Netflix...
Yeah, I will say, at least with Iron Fist, they said, when they cancelled it, it's like Iron Fist will return. Like the character will still be around.
Sure. During this one specifically, they say, because they had already put a writer's room together for season 3 of Luke Cage, they said that there was both creative differences and contract disputes. And I think they mean between Netflix and Disney for this.
Right, okay.
And so here's the interesting part of this. We know we're getting Disney Play, Disney's streaming service, which won't necessarily apply to these shows because I've said before that Disney Play won't have any mature content on it. That'll go to Hulu, which Disney will pretty much own as well by the time we go through all this, because they'll have, just from getting Fox, they'll have 60-something% of that company.
Yeah.
And that'll be the mature content. So it's the sort of thing if they did want to relaunch it might go there, unless they wanted to tone it down a little bit and, make it play nicer. But the point I'm making here is that I don't necessarily think it's because Disney have got plans for these characters. I almost think it's more likely that Disney don't care about these characters now that they've been used and they didn't do that well, or they were, mediocre at best, whatever. I think the bigger thing from both Disney and Netflix possibly is that Netflix doesn't really have any interest in continuing the relationship when it's really content that a competitor might want to continue later on or negotiate for later on. And Disney, likewise, now that they're going to be launching their own service and Netflix is a competitor, why do they want to keep producing content for a competitor? It feels like there's mutual reasons here for them both to want to just kind of phase out this deal.
Yeah, I think we'll have to wait and see what happens in the next month or 2 following Daredevil.
Well, here's the interesting thing. Jessica Jones is already shooting season 3, so that's done.
I believe Punisher's shooting as well.
Yeah, so you're getting another season of those 2, for sure.
Yes.
Because when Iron Fist went, I thought it was just Iron Fist. Now that the 2 of them have went this quickly, it kind of opens up your thoughts a little bit too.
No, I agree. That's where I happen to lean, but I can see why people are going, oh, Heroes for Hire, when it's these 2 that have been cancelled this close together.
Yeah. There was some teases on the Twitters, which some people might be reading into, they might not be. Coulter posted an image of Iron Fist's punch hitting his hand, and it was like, oh, is he teasing a show, or is this just a farewell image? Like, it's hard to say.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know. It's the sort of thing where I don't really care because I gave up on both shows, especially Iron Fist. Good riddance.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'd say don't get your hopes up too much, but you might be pleasantly surprised when they announce something.
It's one of those where I expect it to be okay. No, they're done with this brand, right? They're done with this Marvel brand
with Netflix.
Yeah. But at the same time, I wouldn't be too surprised if in the next month or whatever we got a Heroes for Hire announced.
Yeah, it's hard to say because as much as we're making all these assumptions about the new service, Disney, because they're not wanting to have mature content, might not actually have this motive that we think they might have. They might just not care and be like, yeah, let's keep doing stuff on Netflix because
they're still making money from the deal.
They're still making money, but I think the other big thing is it's brand awareness, right? Like it's almost a gateway for people who have Netflix to maybe go, oh, I want more Marvel stuff. Oh, their service has these other Marvel things.
Let's be honest, they know everyone pretty much has Netflix.
Yes, as Netflix's recent stock numbers would indicate. Yes.
Oh, do you know what? I saw, they exceeded expectations over the last quarter.
Yep.
On new subscribers. How?
It's because they've been launching in other places. Like I know, like they've got Netflix in Russia now, which wasn't necessarily a big thing before.
They went up over 1 million subscribers in the US.
There's a lot of people.
I didn't think there was 1 million people left in the country that didn't have Netflix.
Do you know what it is? It's kids who were on their parents' accounts. They move out and they have to get their own accounts. That's how you get your new million.
Could be.
Because I mean, that's happening every year. That's an ongoing thing.
It is. And,
so
well, we could doing that time of year as well when they go off to college.
Exactly. Yeah, they need their college account. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Netflix is just cheap enough that even a poor college student can get
swing it. Yeah. but to swing back around to the point is everyone has Netflix and they go, okay, I like these Marvel characters, where's more? Oh, that Disney service has got more, maybe I should pay for that. So there are reasons for Disney to want to keep that.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we're doing all this speculation, I think there's definitely avenues where it's all just jumping the gun. It's all just jumping to conclusions, and it may not actually be any of that. But it's hard not to think about it when two of them back-to-back get cancelled like this. Because part of me almost thinks that the others will be cancelled, and it'll just all kind of fizzle out now.
Yeah, we're not getting any more Defenders. We know that.
Yeah. Although that would be the way they could have both the characters back without their shows.
Yeah, could be. Close it off with one more Defenders.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Apparently, Luke Cage ended with a pretty... I don't know if it was a cliffhanger per se, but it had a weird ending where everyone was like interested in what season 3 was going to do with it, and now it's just gone.
Yeah, what a shame. I mean, I don't care anymore.
I mean, it's a sad state of affairs, but I'm almost relieved that I stopped caring a while ago because now I'm not upset about any of this.
No, it's it's good because obviously Daredevil came out just yesterday as we're recording this, and reviews are pouring out. Everyone working through it, and everyone's raving. It says a lot about how little. I don't even have a slight curiosity to put it on.
I was mildly tempted yesterday because of the good reviews. I was mildly tempted to check it because I like season 1 and I liked the first 4 episodes of season 2. I was mildly tempted and I held off because I didn't. Do you want to know why I held off? Because I was like, oh, maybe I could do a solo thing. I'll just review it myself or whatever if I feel like watching it. I might do well or whatever. And I thought, I don't want anyone to expect it after one episode, because I might watch the second episode and go, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, because that might happen. But do you want to know what the main temptation was? Is when people, I didn't read what the spoilers were, but people were talking about the oneer, because every season they've had the oneer. Apparently this one's like 14 minutes long.
Whoa, that's crazy.
And it's got like dialogue in the middle of it and stuff, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to see this oneer.
Just go find what episode it's in and just watch that. I might
just look it up. When does this oneer happen? I want to watch this and nothing else. And I'm like, well, how do they top this next year if they get another season? Well, the whole episode's going to be a oneer then, right?
Yeah, but it's fine because they're not going to get another season.
Yeah, I mean, I could almost see it just being Daredevil and Jessica Jones one. Keeping those two and cancelling everything else. I could almost see that. Yeah,
I'm intrigued to see where they go with Punisher, because obviously that started so much later, when cancellation was probably getting on their mind by that point. By the time they renewed that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
I think we were like, okay, we're going to see how these perform. At that point, I don't know.
I think the buzz. I mean, I don't think there was that much buzz for either Iron Fist or Luke Cage this year when they came back.
No, there wasn't.
I think Jessica Jones had a decent amount.
Daredevil's got a fair bit. To be fair.
They felt way more marketed. I saw a lot more about those just in the build up, just casually, but not even looking for it. Whereas Luke Cage kind of came and went, and I don't even know who the villain was in Luke Cage. Whereas at least Daredevil, I'm like, oh, Bullseye's in it. This Kingpin's back and Big Bad and whatnot.
Yeah.
There's a copycat running around. Like, I know a few things about it.
Yeah, I've not even seen a trailer, but I know these things.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Iron Fist season 2 either.
I actually know one thing, but it's kind of spoilery, so I won't say it.
Sure,
but it's to do with the some of the side characters and where it ends.
Oh yeah, I think there's one who becomes a villain, right? I think I've heard there's a heel turn.
That's not what I was on about.
Okay, but I think there was a character who had no reason to be a villain is suddenly a villain.
I saw all I'll say is it involved a gun, and people who've seen it will know what that means. So I'm aware of that and the situation with that.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, that's something, but doesn't matter now, does it?
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get some interesting news that says no, they're not actually done with this deal. They're just sort of reshaping and cutting some of the fat that wasn't working and doing something else instead.
Yeah,
but
could be.
Part of me's thinking, is it in their interest though? We'll see.
We'll know in a few months' time.
It depends what both want, because it could be a case where maybe Disney does see the benefit of still having something on Netflix, but Netflix are like, well, that's helping you more than it's helping us, so pay us more for it. And then Disney said no, and then it could be that simple.
Could be.
So I don't know. What's interesting though, I do believe that if Disney want to get all those seasons for their own services, they're going to have to buy them off Netflix.
I would have assumed so. They're proper Netflix originals, aren't they? Like from the ground up, produced through them.
Yeah, I mean ABC television studios were the production companies, but Netflix funded them.
Yes, that's why I thought. Yeah.
So, which is worth mentioning. Most Netflix originals still have a production company that's not Netflix, because Netflix don't actually. Well, maybe they do have a production company now, but
I think they do now. I think it's actually in the last 2 or 3 weeks they've started their first one.
Yeah, but I mean, typically it's other production companies that make shows for them. Netflix is basically like a network.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is no different to any cable channel.
Exactly.
Network. Yeah. It's kind of all just done that way. It's how it is.
Yeah.
Even movies to an extent.
In what way?
A lot of a smaller movie will have a production company and then shifted to a distributor.
Oh sure, yeah.
And I think most TV is at the same level as smaller movies, mid-tier movies.
See, I think that's a weirder example, though, a weirder comparison, because with movies, that's very much not the norm in general, though. That's like, no, certain movies of a certain size have to be sold off to distributors, some just get made in-house.
Yeah.
TV shows, it's true there is, obviously, ABC, the network, and ABC, the production company, and often, but sometimes they'll make shows for another network. If they think their show's more suited for... I mean, a great example is the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, made by Fox, but it aired on the WB because it suited that network.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I'm saying is TV's always been like this. This is just fundamentally how TV works.
And Netflix is an extension of that.
Yeah, it's a TV
system.
network essentially, but it just shows them differently. But regardless, Luke Cage and Iron Fist are both cancelled. No tears were wet. But Netflix is constantly pumping out new stuff that's interesting. Haunting of Hill House is freaking good, right? Seriously, guys, it's bloody great. I've got one episode left. It's great.
I'll take your word for it.
Not that I'm just trying to rub it in the corner, but it's bloody great. Episode 6, especially, with all those oneers. Points.
I'll take your word for it.
Bloody points. Anyway, so, next up. Just a quick thing, I don't know if you saw this, but there was a mysterious image released from Watchmen, the TV show, this week.
I did not see this, no.
It was like a police officer, but he had like a yellow mask on. Like he had like the police hat on, but he had like a yellow, almost scarf up to his eyes kind of thing. And it was kind of eerie and creepy looking. I just thought it was worth mentioning because it's like, it's the first image of anything we've seen from Watchmen at all.
Yeah, okay.
So...
you say Watchmen, you say yellow mask. I'm thinking the pin badge.
Oh no! It's just yellow fabric.
It wasn't like meant to be evocative of that.
No, this was like a blank. This was completely blank.
Right. Okay.
This was creepy because there was nothing on it almost.
All right, I'm with you.
So I mean, yellow of course is Watchmen's color, so I guess that's why it's that. But other than that, it seems to be a new character. So.
Okay,
But no,
cool.
this is interesting. I thought it was worth mentioning.
It's ticking along.
All right, so here's a bunch of news that me and Connor kind of already talked about because it's all DC TV news, and we have television from the multiverse where we review all the DC TV shows, and we mentioned the news on that as well. But for the sake of the news show, we'll quickly run through this. We got a bunch of casting for the Pennyworth show. That is Alfred Pennyworth, the Alfred prequel. Epics.
I've not got words for this anymore.
Joe, I think I said this when it was first announced, and don't get me wrong, it's better than this one is, but it's still it's evocative of the Aunt May spin-off movie that Sony wanted to do at one point.
It is, yeah.
It reminds me of that. Even though, I mean, Alfred has more of a past in terms of being a soldier and stuff, so at least there's stuff to do there, but it's still kind of similar to me. Anyway, so we got Jack Bannon as Alfred, we got Ben Aldridge as Thomas Wayne, we have Ryan Fletcher and Ainsley Lloyd in unknown roles, and then we also have Paloma Faith as the villainess.
Yes.
Who's apparently a pop star that I've never heard of.
She is, no. Relatively well known, I would say.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it, but hey. Yeah. So that was the Pennyworth stuff. Supergirl, a bit more interesting. They officially announced that they are looking for a Lex Luthor for later on in season 4, which is very intriguing.
Because Lex is cool.
Lex is cool, yeah.
Let's just do it.
And we've already got a Superman and a Lois, so now we're getting a Lex. But we've got, I mean, it's funny. Season 1, they were kind of trying to avoid all those, except from Jimmy, who was like the was a main character, right? Because they wanted to have one character who was, and I suppose Cat kind of is too, but they'd avoided the biggies, and by the end of season 4, we'll have had the 3 biggest characters from Superman all in the show at some point. So cool. And then we're also getting Jimmy's sister, a new character, as in, he's had siblings in the comics, but I think Kelly Olsen's a completely new character. It says here, Kelly's an intelligent and insightful woman who spent time in the military in order to pay for medical school. She's recently discharged from the military and is currently finishing her training as a psychiatrist. She's got a large heart and cares deeply about others.
All right. I mean, we went over this a lot on TV Mothers. I hate the whole, okay, let's add in a sibling when we've never heard of them before.
Yeah. It's funny, actually, that military part makes me think she's just Lucy Lane 2.0. Now, Lucy Lane wasn't completely invented, though, of course. Lucy Lane's a character from the comics. Lucy Lane wasn't a new thing, but I'm just...
It's because we couldn't have Lois in season 1, so we did Lucy.
We did Lucy. Well, yeah, but you wouldn't want Lois to show up as Jimmy's ex, though, would you?
No, but if they'd been allowed Lois, they'd have just done something different with her.
All right. And then speaking of all this, there's also some rumours that a Superman TV show is being considered by the CW, and that the crossover this year, Elseworlds, is kind of going to serve as a bit of a barometer, and they're going to see how fans react to Superman and Lois on that show, and see if they want to go forward with some sort of Superman series.
Yeah, I'm cool with this.
I thought it was far-fetched when I first heard it, and then the Lex Luthor news came like a day or two later, and I thought, they're casting a Lex as well. I feel like maybe we are actually filling out an entire show here.
Yeah, and honestly, how fans are going to react to it? Well, they already know that they all love Superman, this version, right? We've
for the most part,
very little criticism, honestly.
Yeah, it's just Lois. Do they have chemistry?
Yeah.
All these pieces. I'm certainly not opposed to a Superman show. I could go for it. So that's cool. And it would be, assuming Batwoman gets picked up, it will be the 7th DC show on the CW.
AKA Time for Arrow to Die.
That time passed years ago. What are you talking about?
Look, I've got Titans to damage my liver now. I don't need Arrow.
Dear. But does Titans have Ricardo Diaz? It does
God,
not.
I hope not.
That'll be the first crossover.
Me with that.
He'll go over to Titans. So, and then we also got a poster for the Elseworlds, which has Stephen Amell in the Flash suit and Grant Gustin in the Arrow suit. So we're doing alternate Earth with our swaps.
I hate it in the best way. I hate how it just looks wrong.
I will say, I don't know if you saw this earlier, but there's been a lot of set photos popping up from the crossover.
I've seen the one with Superman in the other suit.
In the black suit, yeah. I wasn't going to mention that. Well, I was going to mention it eventually, but what I was going to get here is there's full body shots of Amell in the suit.
Yeah.
because
I saw that one as
I
well.
was excited at first because I thought, oh, it's Superman, Supergirl, Flash, and Green Arrow all standing together. This is a moment. And then I clicked on it to make it bigger, and it was Stephen Amell in the Flash suit, and I went, oh, this is weird. This feels nasty.
Which what I thought was interesting is in that image, Superman was in his classic suit.
Yes.
So we're doing both.
We're bouncing around seemingly, because I mean I don't know if the black suit is a different Superman from a different Earth, but it makes sense that it might be.
It could be, yeah.
Based on what we're doing with Elseworlds. You know, that we'd go to more than one Elseworld. That's plural after all.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know, but
I'm kind of looking forward to this crossover though.
I expect wackiness. You
I
know, it's funny.
wackiness.
I was annoyed that the poster was so Flash and Arrow focused when we were Supergirl, but then I'm like, yeah, but we're getting Superman and Lois, and so much of everything else we've heard about it is all Supergirl focused, and then Batwoman's also a thing added on to all this.
I think I don't blame them. That was just such an easy poster to be like, hey, look at this.
They're swapped.
Yeah.
So what I want in this is I want Felicity to say to Oliver, "We are the Flash," and I want Stephen Amell to sing "Run to You" from Barry's Wedding to Felicity. I want these things because I'm assuming Amell can't sing, and I think that'll be hilarious.
That would be hilarious. I don't know if he can sing or not, but no, actually, he's all right.
Is he? No.
Yeah, I've seen him just one of the Comic-Con panels in the past. He sang one of the songs from Little Mermaid.
I just say that because he dodged the musical crossover, so I assumed that he couldn't sing.
No, it wasn't like he wasn't like it was good as the others who are almost semi-professional, right?
Mm.
But no, it was all right.
Yeah. I imagine Benoist and Gustin are more professional.
Yeah, but you had a few involved. Obviously, what's his name? Who played Win is professional.
Yeah, but some of the others were just kind of maybe Victor Garber, for example. Maybe he was just like, he's done a bit of musical theatre in the past.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I've already mentioned Buffy, but just the musical episode of Buffy, where whenever it went to Anthony Stewart Head or James Marsters, it was notable that they were both in bands and sung like regularly because they sounded much better than everyone else.
And Tara as well.
Yeah. And it's funny because Alison Hannigan avoided singing as much as she could. She didn't have her own song. She had a couple of joke lines and that was it because she couldn't sing. And she told Joss, she's like, no, I'm not singing. Like, I'll do a couple of joke bits, but that's about it. I'm not doing songs. But so obviously Sarah Michelle Gellar had a lot of big songs because she's the lead character, and she does okay. But she's
she's not a singer, is she?
No,
it's clear.
But I think that made it feel almost more authentic. Like the people who are not supposed to be singers had this magic spell that made them sing. She's doing okay, but she's not nailing it. But whenever it went to Anthony Stewart Head or James Masters, all of a sudden it was like, oh, this guy's good. What? What's happening?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, he's been out of band for a while, yeah. Although to be fair, we already knew that about Anthony Stewart Head because there was that joke scene in season 4 where the gang catch him playing behind blue eyes at like a music night, and they're all just in shock, and like Willow, who I'm pretty sure is already gay at this point, or realizes she's gay at this point, is in awe and like almost looks like she's reconsidering the whole gay thing, based in jail, sitting there singing behind blue eyes. He's a sexy bachelor. What can you say?
Yeah.
Bit of singing.
Sorry, I'm trying to pick up my drink, and the coaster came with it.
First world problems.
Do you know what it is? It's because it's come out of the fridge. There's condensation. It's dripped down. I pick up the thing, don't realise, and the coaster comes up with it and then just falls and makes a big thud. And it's so annoying.
That'll neatly take us on to the new shows in development then. Starting with the comedies, as we do. Fox is developing a single-camera comedy that hails from Ricky Lindhorn and Monica Padrick. Oh, that's weird. It's like Patrick, but with a D. Padrick.
It sounds, because obviously, Old Irish is Padraig. And then that became Patrick. So it's kind of almost halfway.
Yeah, her family goes back to that middle time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is called Tales, and it'll follow Erica, a woman in her 30s, or late 30s specifically, who, despite the pressure she feels from the world around her, refuses to settle in any area of her life. It's very vague. There's not a lot to go on.
Tells me nothing.
Amy Poehler's amongst the executive producers. But
okay, doesn't really mean that much, but all right.
Yeah, no, notable because the name's recognisable. But
yeah.
And then you get Fox developing a single camera comedy inspired by the Property Brothers, Jonathan and Drew Scott. It says that as if I'm supposed to know what the Property Brothers is, but I don't.
It beats me.
Yeah, anyway, the series is titled It Takes Two, and it's based on the Scott brothers' memoir of the same name. The show follows the entrepreneurial twin brothers who decide to join forces in the real estate business when they realise they are stronger together than apart. Fox has given it a script commitment with a penalty attached. So, I mean, at least this one has more of a, like, okay, they fix up homes and stuff and they do real estate. Like, I can see what they're doing plot-wise whilst the jokes are happening.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I get a sense of that, so that's okay, I guess. Next up, also at Fox, they've got a reboot of the classic sitcom Alice.
Cool.
Have you heard of Alice?
I've heard of it.
I've actually not. I'm surprised. Usually you'll be the one who's not heard of something if only one of us hasn't. But
yeah, no, this is one I've heard. I've never seen any of it, but I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a multi-camera series they're going to do. It comes from writers and executive producers Diablo Cody and Liz Astroff. So you know, Cody's a bit of a name. Has the witty dialogue and whatnot. So in the series, a Long Island housewife, Alice Hyatt, has finally worked up the courage to leave her cheating husband. She drives cross-country to Arizona with her teenage son, Tommy, and gets a job as a waitress at a roadside diner where the staff becomes their new surrogate family. So it's a multi-camera workplace comedy where she's at the diner most of the time. And I assume her son will come in after school and get dinner there, and they'll all
have some milkshakes.
Have some milkshakes, yeah. I do enjoy a milkshake, but yeah, sounds like a fine workplace comedy. I mean, whether or not it's any good, completely up to whatever.
We shall have to wait and see.
Obviously, I typically aren't into modern multi-camera comedies, but again, I can't just assume I'm going to hate them all because there are a lot that I like from the past.
Yeah, I'm willing to make exceptions. Like you know, it's not to say okay, it's multi-camera, it's going to be awful.
No,
it's just less likely.
I feel like every multi-camera sitcom at a workplace still has to combat Cheers. Because you think of Cheers because it's the crown jewel of that specific genre. But hey, so coming off the middle, Tim Hobart is taking another single camera family comedy. This is coming from Fox as well. It's called Jill at Her Worst, which is an interesting title. I'll give it that. It centers around a devoted mother, Jill, who puts her family's needs before her own, making her a flawed, funny mess, as narrated by her husband, who loves her dearly.
Okay.
Family comedy. I think the husband narrating it and making it all about his wife at least gives it
gives it an identity.
A sentimental tone, I'd say. I'm getting almost like a
Oh, she's definitely dead.
Oh, in the future? He's narrating from the future and she's dead? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't feel like they're ever going to address it though. I feel like this is just going to be a...
No, that'll be the final episode thing.
Yeah, if they ever feel they need to actually make it a plot device, though, like I feel like it might just be he's narrating and that's just it.
It probably could well be, yeah.
Yeah, like a Wonder Years type deal.
Yeah, but
his wife.
If I ever watch it, I'm just gonna go in assuming she's dead. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. ABC's given a pilot commitment to Friends in Low Places, a comedy from the mayor and all about the Washington's creator Jeremy Bronson. Friends in Low Places is a relationship comedy about a group of 30-somethings trying to overcome the mess they made as 20-somethings.
Okay.
So, do you know what I like about this? Is that it is basically just Friends, but they've just added on some extra words just to disguise it a little bit.
They're trying. Ish.
Some comedy descriptions are so vague, it's hard to get a
They're really hard to react interestingly to because they're kind of all the same.
Well, that's why they come first. We get them out quickly, and then we can get to the potentially more interesting things. FX has given a series order to a potential comedy, a parental comedy, in fact, starring Martin Freeman and Daisy Haggard. It's called Breeders, and it is described as exposing the parental paradox that it is possible in the very same moment to love your child to the horizon of the universe while being while being so angry that you also want to send them there.
See, that's a good tagline.
Oh, no, it is. Yeah, it's all right. At the same time, though, it's just a family comedy.
It is.
It's a better written description, but it's a family comedy.
This description gives me a tone of the comedy, right? That in itself is a joke, and I'm like, okay, I understand what they're aiming for with this show. Whereas all the other ones we've talked about so far, I mean, I can assume what a family comedy, I can assume what just a workplace comedy is, but I don't know what they're going for. Whereas this, I feel like I do.
Yeah, I think the potential here is, though, this could end up just feeling like it's the others. I don't think it will because it's on FX. That's the reason why it will be different from the others, but...
It could. Yeah, no, you're right. Anyone could just put this description and it would just be a really generic comedy.
Yeah.
But at least on concept alone, they're trying.
Yeah, so that's FX, 10 episodes, season order. It's going to come out in 2020. So, yeah. We're talking about things in 2020 now. Time's moving on. So, Netflix has announced a comedy called Family Reunion, a multi-generational live-action comedy series. Which, by the way, I feel like there's been a lot of multi-generational comedies announced over the last month or so.
Yeah, I think that's this year's trend.
There was one or two last week as well. The series, which recently began production, so they're announcing this kind of, a little bit later in terms of what the other companies do. It stars Loretta Devine from The Carmichael Show, Tia Mowry from Sister, as in Tia and Tamara. Did you ever watch Sister Sister as a kid?
No.
Okay, alright, well... Tia from Sister Sister. She's going to play Coco McKellen, a free-spirited mother who travels from the big city with her family to a small town for her family reunion and gets to know their extended clan. Devine will play the loving but strict matriarch of the family. So it's a family comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the thing with Tia and Tamara is I had no idea if they were even still acting. It's like I've not seen them since Sister Sister when I was a kid.
Well, here's your answer. At least one of them is.
One of them is, apparently, yes. So, there you go. And is old enough now to be playing, like, the mother of reasonable aged children.
Time is a bitch.
Time is a bitch. So, next up, I think the Olsen twins are worse, though, because they were closer to our ages when they were famous.
Yeah, but I don't see them anyway, so anymore, anywhere. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but what's funny is the younger sister's now a big deal.
I know. I try not to think about it.
No, but what I mean is it's funny how we don't really hear about them at all, even though the younger sister is now a big Hollywood actress who gets, big movies. Yeah.
One of them was more talented, apparently.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's another sister as well. I think there's a fourth one.
This is another one?
I think so. I don't know if she's an actress.
This is like the Hemsworths when I learned there was a third one that first time.
Yeah, they're all actors, though, which is really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so moving on to the dramas. Now, we heard about this being in development a long time ago, but it's officially been ordered, and that is BBC and Netflix are working together for Dracula from Moffat and Gatiss of Sherlock. And they're going to do 3 90-minute episodes, just like Sherlock. It is going to be set in 1897, and it'll revolve around the blood-drinking count from Transylvania who sets his sights on Victorian London, which sounds like the plot of the book. So, fair enough.
So they're doing Dracula. Yeah. So what you're telling me is the Dracula show is doing Dracula.
Do you know what the thing is here that's notable, though, is there's no twist to it. Because Sherlock had a twist that was present day.
It was a pretty good twist for its time.
Sure.
Yeah. When that came out, that was fresh.
But this seemingly, I mean, there might be something later they reveal, but right now this is just Dracula straight up.
I'm okay with that. I like Dracula.
As do I. I mean, I think having 3 90-minute episodes to do the book could potentially be much better than any adaptation we've had, assuming the quality's up there.
Yeah, and the last season of Sherlock, not great. 3 was hit or miss, but the first 2, when the ideas were fresh and new, were fantastic.
Yes, I mean, on the upside, they should be just adapting the book, which means they shouldn't have to come up with too many ideas beyond just making it work in the structure.
Yeah.
So hopefully There's no stupid, oh, this one was the villain all along bullshit from episode 1. Piss off.
Right, exactly.
That last season was shit. I hate this.
It was really bad, wasn't it?
I hated it.
But it hasn't soured me on them as a creative team. Not on everything they do, because I think they kind of ran out of steam with Sherlock, I think it's safe to say. But I think, okay, going into a new venture and fresh ideas, I'm still willing to check them out.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Netflix, they've snapped up the international rights to a Hebrew language drama called When Heroes Fly. When Heroes Fly revolves around the story of 4 Israeli army war veterans who reunite after more than a decade apart to undertake a final rescue mission in the Colombian jungle. So,
that doesn't sound for me.
It doesn't sound for me particularly either, but it's the sort of thing where, like, with the right... Because this is the sort of thing, as a movie, I'd be maybe more drawn to that.
No, I agree. If I'm like, okay, it's a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It's not impossible that it could be made with the right tone and style that I'd be into it. But yeah, it's not something I assume I'll like.
Yeah.
Netflix has given a series order to Trinkets, which is based on Kristen Kiwi Smith's young adult novel. Brianna Heidebrand from Deadpool and Tragedy Girls. Well, she's a Negasonic teenage warhead.
Right, okay.
Kiara Madeira, who apparently was on The Flash, but I have no idea who, and then Quintessa Swindell are all set as the leads of this show. So it's Viacom's awesomeness that's making it for Netflix. Trinket centers on 3 teenage girls from different corners of the high school cafeteria. Elodie, a grieving misfit, Mo, a mysterious outsider, and Tabitha, the imperfect picture of perfection. That's a good sentence. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Who find themselves in the same mandated Shoplifters Anonymous meeting, and an unlikely friendship forms. They will find strength in one another as they navigate family issues, high school drama, and the complicated dilemma of trying to fit in while longing to break out. Now, what I love about
that is as close as a teenage show can get to
professional
lives.
Because high school's not professional lives, but it's the closest thing you've got as a teenager.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're going for that description. They know what they're doing.
Yes. No, it's a young adult series, but the word young adult typically means I'm probably not going to like it. But I have to admit, the description has a bit of flair.
It does, yeah.
If it has some of that I don't know. Dare I say Mean Girls spirit? Maybe it could.
Yeah, with the right wit applied to this.
Yeah, I like the idea that they're all like different, but they all meet in Shoplifters Anonymous. That's a funny origin story for the group.
Like I say, with the right wit, I could love that.
Yeah. But yeah, moving on to the networks. ABC has got a new sequel installment of NYPD Blue with a pilot production commitment. This obviously the original show ran for how many seasons was this?
Too many.
12 seasons.
Yep, see, too many.
260 episodes. Well, you say that, but I've heard some good things about NYPD Blue.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm pretty sure NYPD Blue, which might be the lesser of the two, and then the other one, which I know for sure I've heard good things about, is Homicide: Life in the Street from the 90s. Because I think people from that went on to do The Wire.
Right,
so it was kind of this thing where, yeah, the legacy of these shows kind of turned into all these things that we don't like now. But there was actually talent back at the start of all this stuff that went on to do other things.
Well, I mean, they had to come from somewhere.
Yeah. So I think NYPD Blue had some clout around it for being.
Yeah, but will
good.
This one?
Probably not. It'll follow the son of one of the characters from the original, Theo, as he tries to earn his detective shield and work in the 15 squad whilst investigating his father's murder. And some of the original executive producers are on board to executive produce this one.
Thrilling. You got no. Original cast. No. We got some executive producers.
I don't know, you get some cameos, but
they might do. But I thought that's where you were going with that sentence.
Nah. Yeah, NYPD Blue. I never watched it, so I can't really speak to it myself.
No, I got no opinion other than okay, it's one of those.
Did you ever watch Grimm?
Yeah.
It ended 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, I saw like the first couple episodes.
Yeah, ended 2 years ago. They're doing a sequel, but they're doing a spin-off apparently. NBC have got it in development.
Makes sense.
The Untitled spin-off hails from writer and executive producer Melissa Glenn, who recently worked on Iron Fist Season 2 and Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Not feeling super optimistic about that. According
Yeah.
to the official description, the new show builds off the mythology of the original series, whilst featuring the returning fan favourites, while also introducing new characters, new dangers, and new mysteries. And they also mentioned this will have a female lead, which I just assumed from that sentence means the original did not, but that's an assumption on my part.
No, if I recall, it was the Brothers Grimm.
Okay, fair enough. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I never watched it, so I mean, I'm just...
I watched the first episode 2 when it aired. It was a long time ago now.
Honestly, it kind of sounds like it's a sort. I mean, they're calling it a spin-off. I feel like this sounds like they're just doing it again with a different character.
It's a cross between that, but they talk about other characters that will return, almost a continuation.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm thinking it's like one of these soft reboots where you do the same thing again, but you have some of the old characters kind of pop in to pass a torch or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting that, but it's kind of weird. 'Cause it's only been 2 years. It's not like it's a nostalgic
to me,
thing.
this felt more like we wanted another season, but we wanted a slightly different edge. So it's a fresh perspective with the new lead, but it's kind of just the next season.
We didn't want to pay for the actors whose contracts got more expensive by the time we got season 7, so now we're going to just restart it with new people that are cheaper.
Exactly, and all the ones who weren't going, well, we're going to gouge you for prices, that you can come back.
Very possibly. Very possibly. Next up, Shades of Blue creator Adi Hasek has teaming with Red Arrow Studios, International and Universal Television Group to develop a US version of popular German show The Last Cop. His site will write a pilot script. And
it's a great title.
Be a showrunner. The Last Cop. I do like the title. I mean, I'm going to assume... I got this news together mostly yesterday, so I can't remember all the descriptions off the top of my head. I'm going to assume this is going to sound generic, but I do like the title.
Probably, but it's a good title.
The Last Cop tells the story of Mick Briggs, an alpha male detective who wakes up from a 25-year-old coma and struggles to find his identity as a man, husband and father in a world that neither recognises nor understands. There's story potential with this, as much as it's probably going to end up just being a generic cop show. But
it'll probably end up being generic, but it's not a generic description. It's not a generic premise.
Yeah. Because I'm getting almost like Demolition Man vibes from this.
Okay, I get you.
And he's gone for 25 years, he wakes up and the world's changed. His rough ways of the early 90s don't fit anymore.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because I feel like back when I remember a time whenever they talked about the rough time of the previous decade, it was always the 70s, but now that's too old. We can't use the 70s anymore. So now it's the rough time in the 90s, which I don't think was comparatively as rough as the 70s, but we just have to go with that.
I don't think so, but what do we know?
I mean, I wasn't around in the 70s, so I don't know.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that's called The Last Cop. Next up, HBO has given a production commitment to a limited series called I Know This Much Is True, and it stars Mark Ruffalo. It's a 6-episode show. It'll be based on Wally Lamb's New York Times bestseller of the same name. It is described as a family saga that follows the parallel lives of 2 identical twin brothers in an epic story of betrayal, sacrifice, and forgiveness set against the backdrop of 20th century America. Ruffalo will play both brothers.
Okay. I get what they're doing here.
Yeah, there's not a lot to glean there in terms of plot per se. It's a lot of big words, but not a lot of actual details.
Yeah, I think the fact that they end on Ruffalo's playing both brothers tells me what's supposed to be the hook. It's supposed to be, okay, check out this acting vehicle, is what this kind of is.
And it's a period piece as well, so I imagine they may put a lot of money into the sets and and whatnot.
But it could be good.
I say that. Watch it take place in the forest for the majority of it. We don't have to change it. Forests look the same.
Oh man, trees are great.
What?
In this context?
Oh sure, yeah.
In this kind of trees, they're just trees, aren't they? It's whatever.
Trees and water. If you go out in the ocean, you know.
Yeah, pretty good out there. Just don't take a phone with you.
You just need an old-timey looking boat and you're good. Anyway. In a competitive situation, FX has landed the development for Her Body and Other Parties. I'll tell you this, that's an interesting title because I have no idea what it means.
Yeah.
Her Body and Other Parties. It's an anthology series based on Cameron Maria Machado's short story collection. Her Body is an anthological series staging psychologically vivid tales of women's fears and desires on landscapes of horror, fabulism, and wild-haired absurdity. It is described as a feminist Black Mirror with fairy tale themes. Its hours threaded together with a recurring ensemble of female characters.
Okay.
I'm intrigued, if nothing else.
Still haven't quite got the title yet.
Her Body and Other Parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued. Like, I'm not a big fairy tale guy, but I can't help but be curious about a Black Mirror style show where everything's kind of interweaved. Yeah.
Would it not be interwoven?
Interwoven. You're right.
Yeah. Just because someone in the comments will give you
No,
shit.
you're right. You're right. No, that was a fair correction.
Yeah.
It's a fair correction. It's been a long
but
day.
I actually agree. You know, the fairy tale aspect actually kind of makes me more interested because that tells me a little bit about what's gonna set it apart from Black Mirror as well. You know, they're going, oh, we want to be like this, but you know, they're going, oh, but feminist. I'm like, okay, but you know, Black Mirror can just do feminist episodes, so you still got to give me something different. And you're going, okay, the interwoven characters and the fairy tale thing, that separates it, and that's the bit that interests me. And obviously, you know, we already like Black Mirror, so if you tell me it's like that, we're already a little bit interested by default.
Yeah. And the title's intriguing. Everything about it's intriguing. It's a very intriguing batch of information. Moving on, the CW is developing a drama series that comes from Jordan Redout and Gus Hickey. It's titled No Hard Feelings. It's described as a dark comedy about a group of friends who conspire to exact revenge on an old rival who assaulted one of their own and got away with it back in college. And this team worked on The Muppets from a couple of years ago, if you remember that.
Oh, I liked that one.
Yeah.
It was a shame that it got cut short.
Yeah, and then Grownish as well, which is the spin-off of Blackish, which I've not seen, but...
No, can't comment.
But, yeah, that Muppet show was actually not bad from what I've seen of it.
It was The Muppets Does The Office, and I liked it.
So, it's funny, because it's like a very serious thing, but I mean, it does say it's a dark comedy, so fair enough.
I can see where the comedy's coming from there, I think, and, you know, dark comedy is probably my favorite kind of comedy because I'm an awful person, obviously.
Oh, no one's disputing that.
Yeah.
Next up, CW is developing a series based on the Oscar Wilde novel The Picture of Dorian Gray. Titled Dorian, the series is described as a comedic spin on the classic story. It follows a woman who made a deal with the devil 50 years ago to remain young and has spent the subsequent decades living selfishly without consequences. As the downsides of the eternal youth finally land on her, Dorian is ready to grow up and age gracefully, but to do so, she'll have to make amends for half a century of bad behaviour. So, it's kind of My Name is Earl, but if
I was thinking it's the CW does My Name is Earl.
If Earl had been immortal for a while, and now isn't, and is also a woman.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you know what this sounds like to me? It sounds a lot like that one we tried a couple of years ago called No Tomorrow. Whereas, we think the world's ending, so let's just do all these things.
Yeah. Although this is kind of the opposite in a sense of that was like, well, it's ending, so screw it. Let's do whatever we want.
But I feel like the tone is going to be very similar.
Yeah, that was CW as well, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, and it obviously didn't catch on for them, but they want that.
And I'm pretty sure there was a pilot last year that we thought reminded us a lot of No Tomorrow.
Oh, there definitely was. I don't remember what it was called, but I definitely remember discussing it.
Yes. So, it's interesting. They're determined to get something like this successful.
You know what? It's weird, though, because they've tried twice, and it's failed twice. Why are they so insistent on making this work? Why don't they just go, well, people don't want this?
Because they see the potential. They're just not nailed it yet.
Yeah, okay, maybe. But, no.
Okay, so ABC's got a put pilot for the Hypnotist love story. Graham will start... Sorry, who's Graham? Heather Graham. That's Heather Graham is actually sold an adaptation of the Leanne Moriarty book. Moriarty, to say it properly.
I wasn't sure what you were trying to say there.
Moriarty. Do you know what? I have to almost hear the Irish accent in my head to say it properly.
Really?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah. So Helen Graham's going to star in it and executive produce. After a string of failed romances, successful hypnotherapist Ellen is optimistic about her current boyfriend until he reveals a disturbing truth: a stalker ex-girlfriend who's been following him for years. Ellen finds herself intrigued and oddly thrilled by the stalker, entirely unaware that they've already met. Which role Graham will play is yet to be determined. Does she want to have fun as the stalker, or does she want to be the girlfriend? We'll find out.
Whatever she wants.
Yes, she's producing. Yes, it's whatever she wants. I'll give it this. I kind of laughed when the reaction of Ellen was, "Oh, this is exciting! You've got a stalker. Let's do something with this."
I don't think that's a healthy reaction.
It's not a healthy reaction, but for a TV show, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is kind of interesting.
I'll give you that.
Will it be good? Don't know, but it amused me anyway. I'll give it that. A lot of these don't amuse me, but that one did. So next up, ABC is given a pilot commitment to American adaptation of the Israeli series. But what Israeli series? Where's the title?
This is some shoddy copy and paste in here.
I've got quotation marks, and then the only thing in the quotation marks is a comma. It's not that.
So moving on.
Well, I've still got a description.
But we don't know what the show is.
The new version of a one-hour romantic comedy series follows the Miami love story between a simple big... Oh no, I remember this. I remember what this title was, because it was an easy title to remember now that I've read some of what it is. It was called The Baker and the Beauty.
That's a shit title.
It's a shit title. But I remembered it, because I thought, why not call it The Beauty and the Baker if you're going to do the Beauty and the Beast thing? But no, they swapped it. It's almost as if they wanted to disguise, oh, we're not doing that. We're not copying that title. We're just doing our own thing. Anyway, so yes, the Baker and the Beauty. So,
it really has no flow, does it?
It doesn't, no. The new version of the one-hour romantic comedy series follows the Miami love story between a simple baker and an international superstar. Nola Hollander has it all. She's the most famous woman in the country, a successful model with an international career, and up until now, one half of a Hollywood power couple. The son of a Cuban immigrant, plural. Both of them are immigrants, not just the one. Daniel is a simple guy who still lives with his parents and works at the family bakery. A chance encounter at a fancy restaurant leads an unexpected spark, and even more unlikely love story.
This sounds highly implausible.
This sounds implausible. It sounds like every stupid romantic novel that I would never want to be part of or anywhere near.
Yeah, I'm good. Let's move on.
I am also good. But I can see ABC wanting this. This feels like an ABC show.
It does, yeah.
Sarah Chalke is reuniting with Bill Lawrence from Scrubs, who created that and ran it, for a drama series at ABC that's in development. It's untitled, but it's inspired by Chalke's life. It's described as a family dramedy about two very different sisters who take over the adoption agency that their parents, a lawyer and a social worker, have run out of their home for the last 30 years.
Okay. I really didn't like Scrubs. I actively despised
Scrubs. I hated Scrubs. I hated it. And that's an unpopular opinion. I know that half the comments on this now are going to be, what, you don't like Scrubs? Scrubs is amazing. Look, it's this simple, right? Zach Braff has a face that makes me want to put it in a meat grinder. I cannot stand his face. I cannot stand the comedy in that show.
That doesn't help. His face doesn't help.
It doesn't.
But it's just painfully unfunny. And then I was like, well, we're in the drama sections, so maybe. And then the first thing you said was dramedy. And I'm like, right, I'm back out.
Yep. Yeah, I don't like Scrubs. I'm sorry, people. I know that upset. When I was in university, and people would bring up TV shows, and the subject of Scrubs came up, the looks of horror. It's like I'd killed a baby.
I know. Well, no, see, this is the thing. In uni, people don't care about babies. It's like you killed a cat.
Sure, okay.
Or more accurately, a kitten.
Right. They think you've done some awful thing because you don't like Scrubs, but I don't like Scrubs. I'm sorry.
It's atrocious.
I hate it. It's not even like a lot of the other people on it are fine.
Look, do you know what? I have nothing against the cast. I mean, Braff aside, but it's all of the script, all of the comedy is awful. Like, it's painfully unfunny. Not just his stuff, all of it.
I guess this is a classic case of humour being very subjective, but we both happen to agree on this, which is interesting. But
Yeah.
hey, so yeah, screw Scrubs. Anyway,
We have just got the most dislikes we've ever
probably. ABC has got a family. Sorry, they've got a pilot commitment for a show called Family History. You can see why I was almost going to say family drama or something.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say like a family comedy or something. I was like, hang on, what's going on here?
No, Family History is what it's called. It's coming from writer Deborah Shoneman, who worked on Girls in the Newsroom. The hour-long family drama, well, it is family drama, is inspired by the recent explosion in genetic genealogy. That's the word. Genealogy testing.
I was waiting to see if you'd get there or not.
I got it. Look, it's late. All right, it's late. It follows. Oh, It Follows is such a good film. It follows a young tech reporter in the Bay Area whose life changes when she discovers a family secret via a DNA testing website. The show explores nature versus nurture and how technology has caught up to our secrets. We may be the last generation to have secrets.
No, we won't.
We'll always have secrets.
Yeah. No, I'm done. I thought that was pretty boring, that description.
Oh sure, yeah. Whatever.
I've got nothing to say on this one.
There's a funny one coming up at some point, I'm sure, about.
Is this the one you laughed at?
No. There's a reason. No, the thing I laughed at before we started recording, which we're getting to at some point soon, is not to do with the premise of the show. It was just a phrasing in the description.
Okay.
So yes, after so Vincent Laresca, who did Shades of Blue, and that's ending after 3 seasons. He did that with Jennifer Lopez. They are working together again for a new cop drama that's been put in development at NBC. It's called Blood Ties. Blood Ties is a procedural crime show in the vein of NYPD Blue. Look at that. This is a new one coming in. They're referencing it. Which is based on an idea by Laresca. When convicted homicide detective Steve Horvath what a name, Horvath. That's a nice name. Is exonerated, he's given his old job back, but finds that he is now an unconventional insight about the criminals he faces. Teaming up with an unexpected, I was going to correct myself and say unexperienced, but no, it is unexpected. Teaming up with an unexpected rookie who has a secret agenda of his own, Horvath must learn to adapt to life outside of prison while trying to figure out who framed him and why. So it's buddy cop show, but one of them also happens to be an ex-con.
Didn't we do this like 3 weeks ago?
Probably. I don't know.
Like that exact buddy cop twist, where one of them was a convict. I'm sure we did that.
Yeah, but that was probably at Fox. This is at NBC.
I can't argue with that.
No, you can't. You damn well can't. Next up, NBC has put in a pilot commitment for Emergence, a mystery drama from Kevin Probably Saves the World creators Michelle Fazekis and Tara Butters. Butters what? What's Tara buttering?
I know. Oh, poor woman.
I know.
I've had so many jokes growing up.
Oh no, I'm assuming she's not married yet. She was probably determined to get married. She's probably determined to get married as quick as possible. Someone marry me so I can take a name.
Yeah, she could just change her name though.
I know, but that's not as funny as what I said.
I know.
And if she did get married and she took that name, then Jesus Christ, she's committed to that relationship.
What she needs to do is double barrel. Tara Butters, whatever the name is at the end. How could you not do that if that was your name?
If the other name happens to be Bread, then we are onto a gold mine with this. Anyway, so Emergence centres around a sheriff who takes a young child in after she finds them at near the site of a mysterious accident, and they have no memory of what has happened. The investigation draws her into a conspiracy larger than she ever imagined, and the child's identity is at the centre of it all. Do you know what's funny? That is obviously a very straight description, but I almost expect there to be a slight sci-fi kind of bent to this once they find out where the child came from.
This is on NBC, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. I didn't jump to it with NBC.
That's
it's
fair.
possible, but
I don't know. mystery about the kid. Why did they want the kid?
Like,
You
if that was a description on CW, I'd be like, obviously there's a sci-fi bent.
Have they been doing testing in the kid and secret government labs wanting him back or something? I don't know.
I get that, but I feel like if that was the case, they'd want to mention that to make it stand out a little bit more.
Unless they're playing the long game, they don't want that to be revealed until like really late on. Like
that's possible. Yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, do you really think they've got that much faith in their own content that go on, we'll keep it a secret?
Oh, what a weird thing to say about a network. They've got that much faith in their own content, and they're not going to.
Well, no, but like they inherently don't because they order about 1 million things. They go, well, some of these aren't going to work. Most
true.
of these aren't going to work.
All right. Fox are developing a show called Deputy. It's a buddy cop show, but no, it's not. So this is actually coming from Will Beale and David Ayer are behind this. It comes from Entertainment One. Deputy follows Deputy Bill Hollister, a career lawman who is very comfortable in kicking down doors, but is utterly lost in a staff meeting. When the LA County Sheriff drops dead, Bill becomes an acting sheriff of the Los Angeles County in charge of 10,000 sworn deputies policing a modern Wild West. The ensemble procedural is being made with the full cooperation of the LA Sheriff's Department. What a weird thing to put on at the end of that. If anything, that just makes me doubt like how much they're allowed to do. Like, they're like, no, don't make us look bad. Don't only do positive things about us.
Yeah.
So that's weird, but whatever.
The whole thing's weird.
Yeah.
Like everything about this new story, you started with who it was from, and then it's this but it's this procedural.
I have to imagine it's gritty and rough coming from Ayer, because that's his thing.
Yeah, but Fox.
As gritty and rough as he can get on Fox.
Which is not very.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder if this is like falling into line with like all of their more conservative approved programming. Because I never really associated Fox, the network, to be like Fox News, but I feel like since they're separating from everything because of the Disney buyout and Fox News is going to be its own thing now, I wonder if it's
maybe
tangent, because I can see this being like, all the cops are heroes, and I mean that's fine. Lots of shows do that, but I don't know. There was a couple of things over the last few weeks from Fox where I'm like, this all feels like it's fallen into like a mandate almost.
No, I'm with you.
When you put
but
them all
ultimately,
together.
It's a cop show. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either. Anyway, next up. So Fox has got a show called Sisters. It was a competitive battle for this one, apparently. So 1 hour drama from Endemol Shine Australia. It's based on the Endemol Shine Australia show, so it's a remake. It's got a pilot commitment. The project comes from the Path duo of co-executive producer Annie Wiseman and executive producer Jason Katims. It centres on an only child, Julia Beckley, who finds her life turned upside down when her father is forced to reveal that... I love this description, actually. This is great. This is gold. This made me laugh so much.
Is this the one?
No, it's not that one. It centres on a little child, Julia Beckley, who finds her life turned upside down when her father is forced to reveal that over the course of his pioneering career as a fertility doctor, he used his own sperm to conceive dozens of children. As she dutifully begins to track down her emerging group of siblings, among a sea of brothers, Julia discovers she has only 2 sisters, both of whom quickly become part of their now redefined family. I just laughed really hard that a fertility doctor was slipping his own sperm into...
No. I'm sure there was a thing in the news about almost this. Like
I can believe it. I don't even think this sounds that far-fetched, but it just makes me laugh as a concept for a show.
The one that was in the news recently was the wife knew what was happening.
Okay.
She was like, hey, use your sperm to the doctor. And the husband obviously had no idea. And like the husband found out when the kid's like 5 or 6 now. And the husband's just found out.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was like, well, what's going on here?
I mean, it's better than outright cheating on him with the doctor, I suppose.
Yeah. But also, hey, I don't really want his sperm. Use yours. That's gotta hurt.
It does sting. I mean, unless it depends. If it's one where they're using the husband's sperm, or is it one where they can't have kids of their own, so they're using donor sperm anyway?
No. It was meant to be his. He thought it was his
Okay, sure,
sperm.
right. But it could
That's
have been
why he was
donor sperm,
annoyed.
though. It could have been like it's going to be a random guy anyway. So
It could have
at,
been.
at
Yeah.
least with this one, it's like if it's this guy or someone she's never met before. At least with this one, she's got an idea of he's healthy and whatever. I'll take his.
Sure.
He's a
I
known
think that's what
quantity.
the catalog's for usually.
Yeah, but to actually say no, I want you instead of my husband, who is an option. Yes, that's pretty cold.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cold. Just when I read Sisters, I thought it was going to sound so generic, and I'm sure it will be a fairly generic show once it gets going. But then it was like, no, fertility doctor's been impregnating people for years.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
All right, next up, Fox has given a script commitment plus penalty to Move, a one-hour drama, a dance drama from Ugly Betty creator Silvio Horta, Mary J. Blige, and Gail Berman's The Jackal Group. Move is a music-fueled dramedy that follows an accomplished choreographer who, in order to redeem her damaged reputation in the cutthroat music dance world, sets her... Do you know what? I'm sick of the word cutthroat in these descriptions. It's always cutthroat whenever they're talking about industry.
It is, and it's especially annoying when I just don't care. Like it's a dance thing.
Yeah,
from
she
Ugly
sets her
Betty
sights
creators.
on
I'm good.
created a flawless tour of a diva pop singer. To get the coveted gig, though, she'll have to fend off competition from her arch rival, who happens to be her former assistant. At the same time, she must act.
It just so happens.
Yes. At the same time, she must act as a mother hen to her talented but often difficult team of dancers who depend on her. I'm good.
That was almost personal and professional lives there at the end.
This next one has the thing I laughed at
Okay.
before the show started. So it's Fox again, given a script commitment plus penalty to an hour-long female-focused FBI drama. It's untitled right now, but what this made me? This isn't the part that made me laugh, but this also makes me laugh. It says here the Untitled FBI Women Project, which is already kind of a clunky, weird way of phrasing it, like the Women Project, right? Then it says after that though, AKA the Tribe. So that's your working title. Call it the Tribe until you've got something better.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Right, so the Tribe is inspired by journalist and author Doug Stanton's interviews with women in law enforcement. It is a character-driven drama set inside the New York City field office of the FBI, featuring stories of 3 female agents as they struggle to balance their professional and personal lives.
They actually outright said it.
That's what I was laughing at. I was just laughing at them actually using that exact phrase. The series explores...
I thought we'd moved on. I thought they were trying to hide it now.
And
But now
here's the beautiful part. The very next sentence says, the series explores the personal lives of our heroines.
No shit, you already told me that.
With the demands of protecting America from its greatest threats. They basically said it twice. They said it in the classic phrase and then described what that meant.
Yeah, see, usually what we get now is just that second part.
Yeah.
Where you go, alright, you're doing the personal professional lives. But they don't usually say it as well.
Yeah, or at least do one or the other. Don't do both.
Oh, Fox. You shills.
FBI, ladies.
Man.
That's all.
I don't think Fox have had anything interesting in a long time.
I feel like I read FBI Women Project and all I can think is that stupid t-shirt that says Federal Boob Inspector. That's what it makes me think of.
That's all I'm going to think of now.
Oh dear. Anyway, so last up in the news. CBS has one thing.
Got a CBS to close us out.
Yeah, just the one, but it's there. They're developing a drama based on James Patterson's novel Texas Ranger. It's just called Ranger. They couldn't even keep the Texas part, which made it sound a bit more interesting. And I get that you have to separate it from Walker Texas Ranger, which was a big show with Chuck Norris back in the day. I get it, but still.
CBS gonna CBS, right?
Yeah. Anyway, so Ranger is... they've already got a show called SEAL Team and then another show called FBI, and now we have a show just called Ranger. Anyway, it's a one-hour drama from the writers and executive producers Jason Hill, T.J. Bradley, Rashid Newson. It follows... Again, It Follows is a really great film. It follows a Texas Ranger and his cantankerous father who moved to South Florida. There, the titular ranger becomes a homicide detective and searches for his brother's killer. When did his brother die? Was this before they moved? Did they die after they moved?
I assume he moved
because of this.
Because of this. Yeah, he's like, okay, I'm going to go
And
there and hunt him down.
They give him the case that he just wanted because it's his brother. Typically, that's not how it works.
Yeah, but he's the Texas Ranger. The Texas Ranger gets what he wants, damn it.
This is like Beverly Hills Cop, where he doesn't actually technically... he's actually a Detroit cop, but he goes to Beverly Hills. This is the opposite. It's the opposite. He's a Texas Ranger, but he goes to somewhere else, but he's always referred to as a Texas Ranger.
Yeah. Just no interest. CBS, gonna CBS.
I guess South Florida Ranger didn't have to say.
It doesn't, does it? It doesn't sound anywhere near as cool.
What about Flow Ranger?
Sounds like something in my toothpaste.
Oh dear, that is the news this week. So now we pick our favourite episode of TV of the week, which is interesting because I have watched a lot in the past week.
I have not.
Yes. But you've watched Doctor Who, you've watched the DC shows, so you can at least pick something out of that batch.
Yeah, I've just that is all I've watched, admittedly. But I'm gonna go with Doctor Who. I'm a sucker. What do you want me to say?
Of course you are.
I love it.
I assume you like the new TARDIS.
Oh, I really do. It's snazzy.
Yeah.
And also, that final touch at the... I won't say just in case anyone's listening, but that final touch, oh, yes. That was just to push it over the edge of Britishness.
They could have had a better one, though. That was a really shit-looking, boring one.
I'm going to fight you.
That
is the best one.
No, it's not. It's boring.
That is the go-to... Look.
No.
Show up. Right here.
So it's a boring biscuit. That's all I'm saying. Boring cookie for that anyone doesn't follow what I just said. But I've just said. Anyway, so I obviously watched all those. I also watched since last news. Well, I watched the first Hill House before the last news, but since the last news, I've watched 8 episodes of Haunting of Hill House, and I've watched The Deuce.
You watched Charmed?
I watched Charmed, yeah, the Charmed pilot, which, the review up, I did that on my own. There will not be any more of that. It wasn't the worst thing ever, but no reason to come back for it, unless we hear it becomes great later on.
Not really expecting it though, are we?
But I'm not expecting it to, no.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, if I'm not counting the Netflix stuff, because typically we don't, I'd say The Deuce was the best thing of the week, and that's probably an obvious answer, to be honest.
Yeah, realistically, I've not seen it. Realistically, there's a reasonable chance that objectively it's better than Doctor Who, because it's a incredibly high quality TV show. Let's be honest, and every week it's been in the contention for best episode.
Yes, and to be fair, The Deuce didn't have a scene this week where someone said, "Call of Duty, bro, I'm ready for this."
I'm sorry, but How Do You Reload had me laughing.
That scene was stupid.
No, I loved it.
I was enjoying that episode until that scene, and it nosedived.
I loved that scene.
I was like,
nosedived. Yes. I was like, yes, let's get in it.
Nosedived. Anyway, I like the end. No, I like the new TARDIS, but I like the filmmaking especially was good as she was getting into the TARDIS. It was like a romantic scene with her in her box.
It was just obviously I wasn't on the review for this second episode, but one of the big things we said in the first episode is, okay, are they being flashy with the direction because it's the first episode?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's safe to say, no, it was pretty consistent this episode as well.
It was. As per usual, but my main problems, all on that stupid Call of Duty reference, was just when they actually tried to like bring up what was going on in the planet, the answers were just kind of like, okay. And the actual, like, the big dramatic point where they have to like get away and they sort of solve it. I was like, okay, whatever.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed her as the Doctor, though.
Oh, she's good. Yeah. But if I'm including Netflix shows, if I'm including Hill House,
which we never do, so you're just doing this for the sake of Hill House.
We never do, but episodes 5, 6, and 8 were all fan-freaking-tastic, right? They're all candidates to be mentioned. 6 had the technical stuff because it was all the wonders in that episode. I won't spoil anything here, but 8 has one of the best jump scares of the last like 20 years in it.
Cool.
And then 5 just had a really sad personal story that was choked.
Have you been spotting the ghosts?
Choked one up. I spotted one or two on my own, and I spotted another couple that were I was kind of hinted at to look for. But I've seen a couple of screenshots of, after I've seen the episodes, I saw some screenshots of some of the ones that I missed.
Where was it? Yeah.
And some of them are so sneaky.
Are they?
So sneaky. So it's fun. It's the sort of thing where on a rewatch, I'll get them all up and I'll look for them. I've got a list.
Right. Okay. It's this scene.
Okay, check them off as I go. Because there was a scene in the first episode where I thought I saw someone standing in the background for quite a while, but then it never became something. It never, that was where the scene went, where the scary thing happened because of the person in the background. So I assumed I was kind of just putting things in my head together. And then afterwards I found, they're hiding ghosts in all the episodes. Okay, I did see that then. There was a person, right? I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
I know it. So, it's very bloody good though.
I hope I find some time to watch it at some point.
You should for a couple of... Some people have asked, actually, because they want to know what you think of it if you watch it eventually. 2, I think it would be criminal not to have it count for some of our end-of-year stuff, because only I've seen it. And then 3, if we do a Season 2, even though it's probably going to be like an anthology, if it does get a Season 2, it would probably be good if you'd seen the first season for that purposes.
I agree. But right now, we're barely just keeping up with what we're doing. I'm literally getting in from work, watching the night stuff and recording it, and that's it.
I know. But you should try and squeeze it in when time frees up a little bit. Put it on with the missus, who I know doesn't like horror stuff, and just sort of...
No, I mean, that's how I end up dead, and you have none of me for the content permanently. There's
only a couple of scary scenes per episode. It's fine. It's mostly a family drama.
Yeah, that's still how I get stabbed. when something scares her, instead of jumping, she'll just stab me.
Yes. Anyway, so that's. I mean, obviously we'll usually tell you what's been up in the channel. In terms of TV, we just kind of told you all of Hill House pretty much, barring the last episode, which will be soon. Charm pilot went up. Coming next week.
I'm looking.
Is there anything new next week?
Well, yes, next Friday.
Oh, sure, yeah, next Friday, Sabrina starts. That's right, Netflix.
And Castlevania hits that day as well, Season 2.
Yeah, Sabrina will definitely have its first episode review up that day. Castlevania might as well, depending on how things go. But
yeah,
we'll be getting to those for sure. So that's cool. I'm looking forward to Sabrina. The early reviews have been kind of like not glowing, but they all kind of sound like it gets better as it goes along, and there's a lot of potential for future.
Fair enough, because obviously they only get half a season usually.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not excited for them, but it's a week away. We'll see. I've not seen any of these reviews yet, though, admittedly, so I haven't gone looking.
I typically don't read them too in depth. I don't want to know too much. I just like to skim and get a sense of
the general consensus. Yeah, I usually do the same. I just haven't. I've been out of the loop with being away for a week, and I just haven't got back into the swing of it yet. I'm still catching up on our stuff.
So that's coming next week. Is there anything else to tell you about? I don't think there is. Oh, actually, I should probably plug our new gaming podcast that's going to be starting before the end of the month. We're doing a monthly gaming podcast, just kind of like we would do with the TV news and the movie news. We're going to do 1080-bit, which is going to be just us talking about the bigger news items of the month and what we've been playing, and just kind of that in general. Yeah,
it should be fun. We go into gaming here or there, just. If you follow a lot of our content, you'll notice every so often we'll tangent a little. Yeah. So just a dedicated output for that.
Yeah, we can. The first episode for sure will be talking about the Spider-Man game, which we should have both finished by the time we get to it.
Ideally, yes.
I should have also finished the newest Tomb Raider game by then as well. So
I have that sat on the coffee table unopened.
So even if you play a few hours of that, so you have some opinions on it, we'll have some. I mean, obviously there'll be over a month old by the time we get to talking about it, but relatively new. Not
Yeah.
not that that's any kind of requirement for this. Some of the games we'll talk about might be 15 years old.
Well,
on
that's
episode
because
2.
for you it'll just be Resident Evil.
I play other things. Other things get played
Occasionally.
but they do.
Yeah. And obviously, we should mention this will be slightly early on Patreon.
It will be, yes. Patrons will get it 3 days early.
Yeah.
That's the
So,
thing that's going to
a
happen.
little benefit. They're the $1 tier, I take it?
Yeah, $1 tier.
There you go. That's all you need.
So, yeah. But that is us. That has been the TV news for the week. So, thank you very much for everyone who's been watching or listening. We appreciate it loads. Like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/MelonFuzzTV. As we just mentioned, you can get some bonuses, some stuff early, and whatever. But have a look-see, and get a list of all the shows we've got on over there as well. So, it's kind of handy, even if you don't want to be a patron. Otherwise, that is us. So, thank you once again. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?